The most awaited South Australian nomination is open from today. They have made few changes to their pathways, especially the outer regional South Australian pathway is no longer there. Instead, they have made some changes to their graduate, their working, and the highly skilled talented pathways. So let's look at each of these pathways in more detail. Let's start with the graduate stream first. Check if your occupation is in the occupation list, and you must be currently living and working in South Australia, be of the age up to 44 years of age, have a skill assessment, competent English, and have minimum 65 points. Now, besides that, the main thing you need to note if you are a graduate in South Australia is that you have completed at least 50% of your qualification while living in South Australia, and you have resided for at least 1 year during your study, and your study must not be less than 46 Cricos weeks. Besides that, rest of the criteria for graduate as well as working in South Australia is the same, which is you have to be residing in South Australia for the last 12 months and you have to be working full-time 30 hours per week in the last 6 months, and it has to be post-course completion and must be in your nominated occupation. Now, this requirement, please note, is it's same for both graduates as well as working in South Australia. And on top of that, if you happen to work in these priority occupation, which is basically health, medical science, trades, construction, early childhood teaching and other teaching, digital technology, food, agribusiness, creative industry, tourism and hospitality, then you might be prioritized. Moving on to the third stream, highly skilled and talented stream. Candidates may include skilled migrants living in South Australia or other Australian states and territories and even offshore. For the eligibility of highly skilled and talented, the usual age, skill assessment, English, and point score is required. And on top of that, if the position offered in South Australia, your employer must have an existing business for at least 12 months in South Australia. The business have to be located in South Australia. They must have an annual turnover of $4 million. But if it's a startup company, then they might be exempted from that requirement. If the business operates outer regional South Australia, they may be exempted from the annual turnover requirement as well. And if the business is in defense sector, again, they may be exempted. And the priority is given to applicants with high-tech digital industry experience. Look at the list here. Or applicants with defense or space industry experience, because South Australia, mainly Adelaide, has a huge army base and air force base. So therefore, looks like they are focusing more on defense and space industry this time around. Lastly, if your employer falls under the supply chain with a critical priority sector, which are these sectors, then you will be given high priority for the skilled and talented stream. Moving on to the fourth and final stream, offshore stream. If the candidates have a good numbers of years of experience in their nominated occupation, has a good English, has good points in their EOI, then on merit basis, they might be invited even if they're in offshore. The only thing is offshore stream does not require a ROI. All the three streams require you to submit an ROI for you to be nominated. And please submit the ROI only once you meet the eligibility of that particular stream, because you cannot edit the ROI. You have to request South Australia to withdraw it and submit a new ROI if you make any mistakes. And one more thing, South Australia seems to be very generous when it comes to people whose temporary visas are expiring before 31st of August, or if they're reaching the age of 45 before 31st of August 2024, you could email them or contact them through the website and request them to prioritize your applications based on these factors.